Hello, dear viewer and listener, and people not doing either, but they won't know, will they? Because they're not doing either. And welcome to ABW Live. Today, we will be singing the praises of Mustafi and Ozil like we have never done before. And with me to help do that wonderfulness is Karl. Right, like your trains, Karl, always late. We were ready half hour ago.
So you couldn't just keep it a secret, could you? You just had to just out my business like that. All right, it's fine. That's fine. I'll see how today's going to go.
Yes, but then you were nice to me after when we were picking on the pirate. Talking of pirates, here he is. Plenty of booty in the background. We've been going through people's bins because the seas are too rough to go plundering there. You know, you cheeky monkey. Oh, we can't say monkey, can we? Because YouTube won't let me use it. You know, I do that nanu cheeky monkeys. YouTube said no.
Yeah, not happening. I'm all right. Yes, I'm here for a short time, but a good time today.
That's a story of my love life back in the 80s, 90s. There was none in the 80s. I was a child.
Get on with it.
Here we go. There's some. Oh, thank you very much, Karl. I almost forgot Karl being in charge, and we'll point out that straight away. J-Rob, no message. J-Rob doesn't do messages. J-Rob just donates and then leaves. There's 2 shiny euros. If anybody is, when you go on holiday, Chris, will you be using euros?
Yeah.
Good to know.
I won't have any choice in the modern world.
I don't know what they use in there, do they? It's like medieval ages over in that country.
No, it's euros.
Is it? There are quite a few that isn't. Oh, we are. It's all started already. Where is that Welsh idiot? Is Stefan in any WhatsApp groups with Jace? Because this could get messy, people. I shall let you know. Joshua Page says, Chris, how... Oh, it's Karl.
I was going to say, did you see Aaron Ramsey's goal yesterday? Quite good.
I did. Slid on his knees. I thought that was quite daring of a man with no knees. Yeah, Josh asks, how the Pirates getting along, Chris? It's a close game today, wasn't it?
Yeah, I lost 3-0 to top of the league today, unfortunately. But played well. Yeah, I can't complain. But, yeah, such is life. Doing all right, though. We're staying together, and we've got a lot of injuries at the moment, which doesn't help.
Mr. Waffles from the US of A, David says, oh, look, it's Johnny Depp's cousin. Have you ever heard that before, Chris?
Yes. I'll take it. Certainly not the case, but I'll take it.
Righto. As you two are pros, we will do this as we go along. If anybody puts the word question with a question, Karl or Chris, let me know, and then we can do the questions as they're relevant as we're going through the show rather than waiting to the end. We are going to do this in 45 minutes because the pirate is being picked up, unfortunately not by a UFO, but by someone in another form of transport. Where are we? Right, straight to my notes. First minute, Chris. Goal! Ceballos gives away a sloppy foul. Sigurdsson, which I've said wrong, free kick, flies in. Kola, Mustafi and Luiz look lost as Calvert spins mid-air, almost like something out of the Matrix, whilst horizontal. Did it hit Luiz's foot as it went in?
What do you want me to add to that?
Did it hit his foot? Because there was I must admit I was still in my bedroom because Dora was giving me puppy eyes and she didn't want to get off she's a cat.
No, it was
get off the bed.
It was a good piece of centre forward play. I thought it was a foul, by the way.
Oh, but, there you go. Why?
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. They don't get given, but technically that's dangerous play. His foot is way above the player's head. And to quote Alex Ferguson, he could have killed him. But no, I mean, if it's given against you, it's a foul. If it goes for you, it's not. No sour grapes. We won the game. I'm just saying. I wouldn't have been surprised if it had been a foul. And I didn't think there was. When you saw the replay, I was quite surprised I didn't check it for long. But no, not a great start. Defensively, we were a bit all over the shop. I thought sort of Luiz just slightly misjudged it, which can happen. But it just had that sort of reek of a team that weren't quite sort of focused from the first whistle, which I guess Arteta will be drilling into them tomorrow morning. But in the interest of time, because I know we've got a lot to get through here, but yeah, not great defending. Good finish, and to be fair to Calvert-Lewin, he's cutting himself quite a reputation as a finisher at the moment. Fair play to him, but yeah, suspicion of a foul, but nevertheless, it gave us the wake up we probably needed at that point.
Do you not think it was bad defending as well? Because if Kolasinac had left, I think it was Sidibe, he would have been offside. So why he's wrestling with Sidibe, I have no idea. And that's the questionable thing about that whole lead up to the goal. And you think to yourself, someone who's smarter, like he had no interest in the ball at all. He's you know, obviously that was his man, and he was chosen to man mark Sidibe, and that's what he done. But for me, that's very, very silly.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's a very Arsenal-esque goal, isn't it? And certainly in recent times, where we just aren't switched on and we're too focused on what's going on around us rather than the ball and getting rid of it. So, yeah, not great, I would say.
Yes, just made Nicky Wilson a moderator in our chat box. Remember, Nicky is there, and so is Richard. We don't ban people. Don't get all. What was it when prefects? You know, there was snotty prefects. That's horrible to everyone. Only ban people, you two, if people are absolute arseholes. Give them a warning first. But yeah, we're not a channel where we go banning. And the amount of times I've been banned from live chats, you would probably easily believe it is quite a lot. So yeah, be nice. But none of the rest of ABW here. The other 500 of them haven't bothered turning up to do any kind of moderation, and Chris is too busy making notes. So yes, that was very annoying, the fact that we let a goal in so early on. And I think there was a stat going around that Arsenal this season are letting in more goals in the first X amount of minutes than any other team, which I thought was a little bit worrying. Next bit I've got down. Here we go. 8th minute, Karl. Iwobi down our left. Kola looking worried as he is split between covering at left back and covering at centre back. Do you think our players have just gone in and not ready, or do you think Everton have gone, right, look, they start off slow, we need to get in there? Because quite often in the Arteta part of the season, we often have started the first half off quite slowly, haven't we?
Before I answer that, I'm going to say thank you to Gunner93, who has... Danny, what currency is that? You should know.
CHF. You know, I know my currencies, but I don't know what CHF is.
Either way, either way, Gunner 93. Thank you very much. But okay, I press on. Yes, Iwobi was looking very dangerous, and I'm not even going to lie to you when I say,
it's Swiss francs, Karl.
Oh well, thank you, Gunner 93. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll be honest with you. I put £1 on Iwobi to score or assist a goal, because it was that sort of game we was looking at that he was going to. He was looking very dangerous, and Kolasinac, he's come straight in. I think it may have been maybe a game too early, just because he just seemed to be a bit all over the place, and this wasn't the game for him. Everton are a very good squad, so a very good team, and they can definitely punish us, and I think they must have targeted Kolasinac because they were down that side, and he did look a bit out of sorts, which is a bit worrying for us. But I mean, luckily, Iwobi didn't. After that, he didn't really do too much. I mean, he had his chances. He just looked a bit lively, but yeah, it was worrying, and I think Kolasinac was just. I think he was back just maybe a game too early.
Question here for you, Chris. Rocky_7_GTUK says, is ABW becoming super chat only? No, it isn't. And he asked before that, can he get a shout out? We don't usually do shout outs, but just to prove that we're loving. Do you want to say hello to him, Chris?
Yes,
Rocky.
hello. Hello, Rocky.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's why people don't ask, because it's incredibly underwhelming. Talking of being incredibly underwhelming, Jason fucking Davis says, Tappy fucking Tappy.
That's Welsh.
He's using one of those Welsh keyboards again. It's only got 4 letters, all of which are vowels. So yeah, good luck with that, and cheers. Here we go. And a message from Mr. Waffles. I'm oddly encouraged by this win. If we can win ugly, win convincingly, and win in a slugfest, dunno, see that as a positive. It's right, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah. I think that basically sums it up quite well, doesn't it? Going behind and showing resilience to come back is a good thing. I still prefer it if we just won 3-0 every week. But it shows resilience that you're able to come back, especially from going behind that early to a team let's not forget, a team that are a rival for a European place and in good form. I think only Man City and Liverpool taken more points since Ancelotti's gone to Everton.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
I mean, that's not, they're not a bad side, are they? They're certainly not the Everton that we've played in the past.
Carl, read that comment from Daryl Kane and then talk about it a little bit while I go and do some tweetings for the show.
From who, sorry?
Read that comment from Daryl Kane that's on the screen while I do some tweets.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. What, on our screen? Sorry.
I thought you'd just be looking at it, wouldn't it? I've highlighted it.
No, you haven't. Highlighted what?
Daryl Kane's message.
You read it out, and I can't see it.
Okay. Daryl Kane says, I love how Xhaka and Ceballos control their midfield, which allows Ozil to get involved where he sees fit, which we noticed a lot of that in the second half, didn't we?
I think Ceballos was absolutely brilliant today. I think I saw him tackle more today than I think I've ever seen him in any other game. I don't know if that says more about the game or anything else, but for me, he definitely put his foot in. He was around the pitch. He did a proper, what a number 8 you'd expect a number 8 to do. He was literally out putting his foot in. I love the way he kind of he put his foot in on Richarlison a few times, which I very much like. He definitely stood out today. I think he was definitely someone who I blow hot and cold on him. Sometimes you look at him and you think, do you know what? If we put in a cheeky £30 million bid, would Real take it? Probably, maybe, I don't know. And then sometimes you see him play before his injury. It's kind of like, I'm not too sure on him. But, you know, there's a few games left, and, you know, our midfield is not the best. You know, let's be honest with you. And he can definitely play his way into the thinking of maybe we can keep him.
Yeah, I think your point where you're saying first part of the season, he tended to be playing in the Ozil hole, and I don't think that's really set for him, is it? He needs to be able to do much more running, going deep, getting the ball, getting stuck in, like you were saying today, getting stuck in with the tackles. A couple of notes I've made. We have made 3 good attempts at through balls through the middle of their defence already. I like that. Now, that's something I've said in previous games, that we are doing far too many crosses and not enough through balls, wwhich is the kind of thing that who's playing on the Saka on the left and Aubameyang up front, because when you've got, I suppose, even Pepe on the right, if you put through balls to those, which we saw Ozil doing, especially in towards the end, the beginning of the second half, Ozil did some fantastic. As soon as he got the ball, he was giving it out wide to Saka, but we'll come to that later. 14th minute, Chris. Kolasinac takes an elbow to the cheek, not an arrow to the knee. Skyrim. And lands on his shoulder. Should it have been a yellow card? And then the game was paused for 5 minutes. What did you think? Were you worried?
Not worried as such, because Saka's been in such great form, but it doesn't help. Another injury doesn't help. Another shoulder to join Kieran Tierney. It's ironic that he could be coming back as Kolasinac goes out with what looks like the same injury. But, you know, Saka came on, and obviously we'll come on to his contribution. Thought he did very, very well. I don't think it's a yellow card. I think it's just one of those coming together situations. You know, maybe a bit overly physical, but it's one of those. You know, if the player doesn't cause, or if there isn't an injury cause, he just gets up, they shake hands and get on with it. So, yeah, not for me. But no, I wasn't particularly worried because, as we said, Saka's been in really good form, and I was going to say like for like replacement. Technically, he's not, but in the position he's been playing recently, he is. So, yeah, it's luckily the one position we had direct cover for.
Good. Right. Question for you, Carl, from John Bernstein. How many assists will Saka have by the end of the season? And to help you with this, in Arteta's run of 12 games as manager, we have won 6, drawn 5, lost 1, scored 19, conceded 10, 5 clean sheets. His top goal scorers under Arteta, Aubameyang 5, Pepe, Martinelli and Lacazette are on, and then Nketiah on 2. But assists in all those games, Saka's got 4, Pepe 3, Lacazette 2, if that helps.
I think, I don't know, I don't want to put any numbers on Saka. I want to say 100. I want to have 100 assists.
I think that's a good guess, yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. But all I know is that at the moment he's playing very, very well. Whether left back is his position, I don't know, because we'll get on to it in the second half. But in the second half, he was having some very wayward passes, and his position wasn't the best. But you know, he's 18 years old, and even his assist for the first goal, which we'll probably talk about in a minute, but it was brilliant. And you know, I personally think he should play higher up the pitch. I think he can affect the game much, much more. If he had like a proper defender like, you know, Tierney or Kolasinac behind him, you could say, yeah, it's brilliant because he could play left wing, and you could put Aubameyang in the middle, which I personally think that's where he should be playing. But for me, Saka is a talent. He really is. He's come along so well, and I don't want to hype him up too much because we tend to do this like with some of our youngsters. They have a run of games where we think, oh, he's the best thing since sliced bread, and then we put all our hopes and dreams into them, and then they end up not being very good. But from what we've seen of him so far, I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's very, very good. I think
so confident.
Yeah, he likes to take on people, and that sometimes it gets him into a few problems. And but he's 18 years old. He's 18, and he's gonna, he worked that out of his game. I think I don't think left back is his position. I really do think he should play higher up the pitch. I think if he had, because he likes to get forward, and if he had a confident left back who likes to defend someone like Kieran Tierney, like I said, behind him, I think you'll see much more out of him.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Rudy Rastos makes the point. Rastlos. For me, Sidibe needed to get a red. His elbow was out. I think if you go in with your elbow out, then that's trouble. Dave Atkinson says, we were always going to struggle in the last 20 minutes because we had 3 games in the last week where as Everton were sitting in the sun with their feet up for the last 2 weeks. So in the end, a great result. Chris, do you think that's why we've seen the likes of Eddie starting games and why Kolasinac started on the left? Because normally you wouldn't want a more defensive player when you're playing at home, would you? But we can't go playing all of our best players every single game, can we? Or can we?
No, it was a balance. It was a balance that Arteta in the end proven to get exactly right. A narrow victory in Greece means that he can probably play not lesser players, but can probably rest a few in the home leg because we've gone out, essentially got the job done early, which I always prefer us to try and do, try and win the first leg, especially if you're away. And then in theory, against the side that don't travel particularly well, you should be able to get the job done at home, although obviously they played Spurs off their own pitch, so you've got to be a bit careful. And then, not that that's hard. And then we sort of used the lineup and used the squad today, and I think that's probably why you saw the likes of Torreira and Lacazette not starting and Saka not starting. I think it worked out quite well. Martinelli wasn't even in the squad. Sokratis on the bench. So I think the changes made sense, and like really said, 3 games in just over a week. It's not just the games; it's also all the training and the preparation that goes into the games. So I wasn't surprised by the changes today.
I know Wenger's gone, but it's always good to compare Arteta to Wenger because that's probably where he learned a lot of his trade or was influenced a lot. But we used to see with Wenger, when Iwobi first came in, Iwobi would just play all the time. And it seems that Arteta is going, you're really good, but you're not playing every game. And then you're going to get dropped, and then you're going to be on the bench, and then you're going to come on. He seems to be rotating the squad. And I think what we saw from the Olympiacos game, he's taken the Europa League seriously, isn't he? Yeah,
definitely, yeah. And he's playing players that are either training well, or when they're in form, they're in the side, and when they're off form, they're out the side, or when they drop even a slight level, they're out the side. That's good. That's good to see.
Here we go, Karl. A question from a rugby-loving person. You can tell by the question: is Mustafi a shoe-in from the Ballon d'Or? It's from Jason. So I didn't see that. Sorry, Jace.
Shout out to Mustafi. I don't think he had the best game today. I'll be honest with you.
At times he did, but he had a couple of claims, didn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't bad today, but he wasn't. I mean,
second half he was much better.
I think I'll say that. I think his recent performances have definitely improved, 100%, hands down. I think his recent performances have been absolutely not brilliant. I'm not going to say brilliant, but from the Chelsea game onwards, he's kind of got his head down and literally started to work. He's cut out some of the stupid mistakes. He's always going to have the problem is with Mustafi. You always fear that he's going to have some sort of ricket in him. You always think that there is a mistake within him. But credit where credit's due. He hasn't had a mistake leading to a goal since the Chelsea one. And obviously Arteta is seeing something in him that he's, keeping him at his side. And, I think it's the lesser of 2 evils. It's either him or Sokratis, isn't it? I think in the summer we'll definitely 100% address the defence situation. We have bought him Mari as well. So obviously that's more competition from places. And I'm sure when Mari's fit, then he'll come into contention of who we're going to play, whether it's going to be, Mustafi and Mari, or whether it's going to be Sokratis and Mari, or whoever. We've got a combination of people. Remember, we've still got Rob Holding as well. So we have got a plethora of centre-backs if you really think about it. But it just seems that no matter what combination of centre-backs you play, we just don't seem to defend properly, which is really annoying. But I'm sure that, Arteta is looking at all of our centre-backs and he will get the right combination.
Good, right. Rocky has said, I guess my username is new, but I've supported the channel for a very long time. I used to be Daz316. I'm sorry if I stepped out of line, guys. Taffy. Don't ever apologise. So here we go. Archie. Mustafi turned into prime Maldini. Richard Moyes says Mustafi has gone grey. And then what else is in there? Oh, here we go. Ian Wood makes a good point. Lucky win. Never do it the easy way. Mustafi brilliant again. Saka's crossing on point. Ceballos controlled the game. And Eddie done well for his goal. And Alba doing what he does best, thank God. I think that sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? Right. We're glad to know, Chris. I didn't have too many more notes. Where are we down to? Eddie had 23rd minute. Eddie has a shot on goal. Puts it over. Things are looking good. 25th minute. Alba and Saka down the left. Saka cross to Pepe, who has a shot, and it's looking better there as well. First goal for us, Chris. 26th minute. Goal! Xhaka down the left, gives it to Saka, who sprints away at the speed of light. Perfect cross, and Eddie scores of a semi. Was it a semi-bicycle kick? Almost?
That's more of a half volley, wasn't it? But yeah,
no,
it was. Yeah, I thought it was a really, really good goal. I tweeted, I said that was Pires to Henry in 2020 because it was that kind of goal. It's that early delivery. The thing I like about Nketiah's finishing is it's very natural. That's the sort of goal that he scores. If you watch it very closely, like the way he opens his body up, he lets the ball hit his foot rather than having to put any power in it. He guides it into the net. His movement as well, if you look at that before the cross comes in, his movement's very, very good. He's a natural finisher. I think the only problem Nketiah's going to have, two problems he's going to have having a career at Arsenal is how much game time he gets, which obviously will be dependent on who we keep and maybe don't in the summer or whatnot. But also it's whether teams work him out. That's his skill. That's his real talent. He's a poacher. He's a finisher. And that is all he is essentially. I'm not saying he doesn't do other things. He works hard, etc. But that's his game. And yeah, the cross from Saka was superb. I mean, that's the strength of his game, and that for me is why he is a winger rather than a left back. But brilliant cross right into the area. That basically, I think Gary Neville said it. You can't defend those. Doesn't matter how good a defender you are, how good a goalkeeper you are. If the centre forward is any good, those crosses are goals 9.9 times out of 10 because it's undefendable. So really pleased for Eddie. He took his chance. He had a frustrating day in his first start, didn't he, 2 weeks ago? Got the goal today and looked lively. Worked his socks off. Played the full 90 as well. But yeah, really, really good finish. Really clever finish. Really good movement, and he deserved his goal today. So credit to both youngsters combining for it.
Yes,
there's a pitch. That goal, Chris, you may remember this. That goal reminds you of Henry's last goal against, I want to say it was Sunderland.
Yeah.
When he came back, that goal, that's what it reminded me of. I'm sure it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like you said, Chris, I think I agree with everything Chris said. The way he just opened up his foot, let the ball hit him, guided it into the corner. It was Henry-esque, and we're going to compare it to our greatest ever goal scorer because it was absolutely brilliant. And credit where credit's due. He could have gone out alone, and we kept him because Arteta saw something in him, and he's starting to repay the faith that Arteta saw.
Yeah, a lot of credit should go to Arteta for keeping him, for not sending him back out on loan again. It's almost as if he knew that Lacazette's going to have a bit of a dry spell, that we're going to be still in the FA Cup, Europa League. But look at that, Carl. Do you reckon Eddie deserves a statue for that? Him doing that goal, much like the Bergkamp one? Does he deserve a statue already?
If he goes on to be anything close to Henry and Bergkamp, then that's the one they'll use. But let's again, we can only hope. We'll see what Eddie does. I think depending on whether Lacazette stays next season or whether Aubameyang stays, depends on what happens with Eddie Nketiah, because I don't know, like I would love him to stay at the club, but you know, I think it all depends on what happens with our senior strikers. And that's not me saying that I think that Eddie is good enough to start for us week in, week out. He's not, you know, let's not pull no punches. He's definitely not good enough to start for us week in, week out. However, if he's a backup striker, someone to play in the FA Cup, the early round FA Cup games and the League Cup games, then yeah, I'll take Eddie and I'll keep him for that.
Archie's just put in the chat box here. Cheers, Archie. Always up on information. Mavropanos got injured again. Just been had a look. His team, Nuremberg, lost 2-1 home to Darmstadt 98, and he went off injured after 13 minutes. But on the other hand, Mkhitaryan scored again today, so I think that was his 5th or 6th goal of the season. Get rid of that. Yeah, cheers for that, Archie. There was a question here as well, but I can't remember where it's gone. Will I be able to find it? No, someone had, maybe Karl has been and put it in the chat. There's one here from our own Richard. He says, for you, Chris, do you think Saka suits coming onto the ball from left back rather than being on the shoulder of the fullback? That's a good question, because that might be what he needs to do when Tierney comes back, isn't it?
Yeah, and his combination play with Aubameyang's good, isn't it? In that situation, you know, they combine really well and they cover each other really well. I don't know. It's a difficult one to judge at the moment. The one good thing with both Hector and Saka in particular is that it gives you an option of playing or rotating between 3 at the back and full back, because you can play either of those two, or Tierney for that matter, as wing backs. And if we were to keep Cedric Suarez, wing backs. So yeah. I think Saka. Time will tell where he ends up playing. He's embraced that role and he's made it his own to a degree, and he's impressed there. I agree with Karl though. Defensively, you know, against the very top level, he will get found out because it's not his position. But he's doing a really good job where he's playing, and he's doing a good job while the other players are out. And he's taking his chances. You can't ask any more of a kid coming in. He's taking his chances. That's all you can ask. So time will tell, as dependent upon where he plays in what system.
And I think when he is playing at left back, normally when say if we had Monreal playing left back in the day, when he went forward, there's a huge gap at left back because he wouldn't get back there quick enough. But the oppositions now know if Saka decides to go for a wander down the left hand side, you ain't never going to get back to left back before he does, no matter which player you are, because he will turn around and he will be gone at the speed of light, which is probably why we're not so vulnerable. But then again, Monreal played yesterday, didn't he? He got man of the match for Real Sociedad as they won 3-0. Magnificent result. Blair Slater has given us some Canadian dollary dues. He says, help, gentlemen. Long time. Hope everyone is well. Keep up the great work. Up the Arsenal. Slater out. Thank you very much, Slater, Blair, from with your dollary dues, from no doubt knee-deep in snow in sunny Canada. Right, Karl, there was a question that you put in there which you can have from Julian Salmon. Who do you think has made more of an impact with their substitutions today? Ancelotti or Arteta? Was pretty impressed with Everton today. What do you think?
I think both. I think Arsenal substitutions, I think, could have been made a little bit earlier. I mean, Ozil, he looked so tired, and I personally would have
a lot of running, didn't he?
Yes, and I personally would have brought on Ozil. I brought off Ozil long before he did come off, and I think Guendouzi was the right person to bring on, because with Guendouzi, you can just say, go in there, be a bastard, break up play, and that's what he did. He came onto the pitch and he broke up play, and he's just being what Guendouzi does. You know what I mean? And I think that was what he was brought on for. However, I think from about the 75th minute, you could tell that Ozil was blowing and he needed to come off. So, you know, I think that we was forced into one, you know, that substitution, that our first one we was forced into, which I can kind of get. And Everton's one, I think, was they were chasing the game. I mean, Gomez, I mean, first of all, let me just shout out Gomez. I think it's great to see him come back after his horrific injury. And, you know, he's glad that after that injury, you can, one, he's walking again, and two, he's on the football pitch running up and down. I think it's, you know, it's not one of our players, but well done for him for coming back. And even when he came on the pitch, you can tell what quality he is, because he was popping around passes and you're looking at him thinking, oh, he's not too bad. Moise Kean, you know, as Everton were pressing towards the end of the game, Moise Kean come on, and, you know, he was just there to kind of give our defenders something else to think about. And, you know, credit to Ancelotti, that's what he, you know, though he didn't have that much of an impact, I think he had one shot on goal towards the end from quite far out, but he was there to disrupt. The thing is, you know, sometimes you can make tactical substitutions if you're controlling the game, but I think during the game, sometimes Everton were controlling the game and sometimes we were. I think, you know, bringing on Torreira, someone a bit more defensive minded, we needed that. So credit to Arteta. Like I said, I wish the substitution happened maybe just a little bit more earlier, but, you know, credit to Arteta. He brought on the right people at the right time.
I think you could see that they were up for another goal, and we'd already surrendered the lead once in the game. And I think those Everton substitutions are, here we go, Don 1, Carpenter out. Never ends, does it, Chris?
No.
Sad to see. Fair. Right. It is fair. Right, Chris, 32nd minute. Oh, you've had 2 goals in a row. Karl can have this one. Karl, 32nd minute. Who have I put? Luic. What the hell is Loic?
You mean Luiz?
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. The C and the Z are quite close together, and I've got fat fingers. Luiz brings the ball out, gets to the halfway line, almost as if there was some kind of force field to stop him going any further, which we've wanted for years for our centre-backs. Gets to the halfway line and pings it out wide left, where Alba is at 100 mile an hour ready. He leaves their defence standing and runs at the keeper and slots it home. But in the replay, you saw Eddie was ready for a tap-in too. Did that warm the cockles of your heart, Karl?
It was lovely, because I love the way Luiz opened up his arms to say, I've got no one running for me. And he sort of just slid it straight through in the middle. And Aubameyang, I love the way, you know, that sort of goal always made me compared to Henry, because Henry kind of made his name of that sort of goal. When you open up your body, you literally open up your foot and you curl it into the far corner. Absolutely brilliant. Whether he had squared it or he scored it himself, it was always going to be a very good goal. So credit to Aubameyang. It was the weighted pass was absolutely lovely. It was everything about that goal was just really, really nice. The
almost perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah, the disguise from David Luiz, the straight down the middle, one straight ball through Everton's defence. Aubameyang literally just opened up his body and curling it into the far corner. And even if he didn't want to score, Eddie was up with him to square if he wanted to square it and get the tap in. So it was a very nice goal. It was an Arsenal goal from, and I say that from old, you know, it was a Fabregas to Henry, far corner, brilliant goal.
Yes, Chris, that when we signed David Luiz, we all hoped that he would be the centre-back that we wanted, playing the ball out from midfield, and today, playing out from the centre-back, and today he showed that a couple of times, didn't he? He really has. When the first part of the season, we were joking and going, oh, it's Agent Luiz, because now Agent Xhaka's gone, they've sent in another mould, but they have another. Things are really turning out well for Luiz at Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah, it is. The trouble with David Luiz is, having seen him, over his career at Chelsea and same at PSG and now with Arsenal, is, a little bit like Mustafi. You always know that there's a mistake in him. The one thing he has got is he's got leadership. He's a winner. He's got experience. I love the way he puts himself about. He's clear. I think he's very. He's one of us. He's very sort of within the club setup already. He feels like an Arsenal player, and I think with the right partner, he's good. And I think that's a lot of the reason why you see Mustafi get the nod ahead of other players at the moment, because the mobility of Luiz and Mustafi complements each other quite well, and they're both fairly good ball playing centre halves on their day. So I think that's probably why. But yeah, I like Luiz. I as I say, I do still have a bit of a heart flutter every time the ball goes in behind him, when he's sort of frantically chasing back. And yeah, when you sign David Luiz, you know you're not signing Pete Maldini. You know you're signing a player who's got flaws. You know you're signing a player who's got deficiencies in his game. But you also know you're signing a player who's very comfortable on the ball and is a born leader and has led teams to trophies. So, and you can't get enough of that. So yeah, I mean, as long as he keeps performing the way he is and keeps putting in the performances he does, then you can't fault him. And he put his body on the line several times today. So yeah, can't knock the guy.
Rudy doing his usual and keeping us up on the press conference. He said, Everton boss Carlo Ancelotti is up first. I'm really disappointed, but I cannot say the performance was good. I cannot be satisfied. Followed on by, we want to win here against a strong team, Arsenal, but defensively we were poor. We have to defend better. We conceded 2 goals too easily. Again, we conceded goals quite easily as well, didn't we? Where's that gone? I highlighted it. Oh, there. No, it's gone. There's Petito. Oh, yeah. God, you lot are busy typing away. Look at the table. I think this may be another part of it. Look at the table. Of course, we are right in. And I'm just seeing if there's any more here. Oh, Petito's given us some money. Oh, Petito, very kind of you, sir. 2 American dollary dues. What does Maitland-Niles do now? 4th is 4th choice. Yeah, Carl, you got any thoughts on that? Maitland-Niles, what do you think his future is? Because Bellerin, it seems to be back.
Well, see, that's the thing. We see him as a right back where his preferred position is centre mid, and the fact that his preferred position is centre mid and he can't get in the squad at the moment, if I was him, I would resign to being the reserve right back, because at the moment he's not going to get any game time in the Premier League as a centre midfielder. He's not going to get in ahead of Ceballos. He's not going to get ahead of Xhaka. He's not going to get ahead of Guendouzi. He's not going to get ahead of Torreira. That's 4 people he needs to try and get ahead of, and it's not going to happen. So, unfortunately, I think his game time, unless Bellerin gets injured, is going to be limited, or unless Bellerin needs a rest, is going to be very limited, and it's worrying for him because I don't see him having an Arsenal career. If I'm really honest, I just don't see him staying at Arsenal. He's the position that he wants to play in. Although we may not have the best centre midfielders, we're kind of flushing that. Like I said, there's 4 people ahead of him. Whether he's even good enough to play centre mid, because we've hardly really seen him in there. I think we've seen a couple of League Cup games and maybe a couple of Europa games for him to play there. So, unfortunately, I do think that his time at Arsenal, maybe as a centre mid, is going to be limited or is come to an end.
Daryl Kane says Ainsley could do what Guendouzi did today, but he has dug himself a hole. I thought Guendouzi was very impressive when he came on today. The way he was harassing those their defenders every time they got the ball, Guendouzi was straight up there, and then as soon as they kept the ball, straight back in the middle of the field defending again. Rudy has another update on the press conference. Arsenal, but he could actually put a fake one in here and we would never know. Mikel Arteta, I'm really pleased with the performance. It's not easy to play 3 times in 7 days, which somebody in the chat box already mentioned earlier. The team reacted well after conceding an early goal. Very good. And then Rudy says, everyone thumbs up or else there's going to be trouble. Oh, yeah, I got that. Cheers. Archie just reminded me there's a super chat. Daryl Kane. Oh, here we go. Daryl's made a point. I don't agree with the Bellerin hate. He is doing his job. Just because he is no longer flashy with quick runs, people think he has dropped in form. I think he's been more conscientious when it comes to defending. He's doing his defending more often and still managing to get forward, which is important. Right, where were we up to now? Blah, 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 blah. 39th minute. Ozil gets the ball and immediately bangs it across the field to the feet of Saka. That was pinpoint. That was a thing of beauty. Who makes a run, goes over, but gets up right away, not looking for fouls, Chris. That's important, isn't it? Because we've seen so many young English players, as soon as you look at them, they fall over, don't they? And he didn't. He got straight back up again.
Yeah, he did. And well, I mean, I couldn't really add a lot more to what you said there. I think that's the good side, isn't it? You want to see players that are resilient and on their feet and back in. I think you pretty much summed that up. I couldn't really add much to that.
So when they do actually get properly fouled, it may well be a penalty rather than falling over, pretending you've got some kind of wobbly leg syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to be known as a team like Spurs who go down over every little thing, do you?
You don't. 44th minute, Everton free kick from our right back position. Good cross in, and Richarlison heads it very, very wide. It looked on target from one angle, then you see it from the other one and go, God, no, that was almost in a different postcode. 45th minute, collisions, Calvert and Bellerin, and then Richarlison on Ceballos, who looks hurt. And there were a few scuffles and a yellow card for Richarlison. Karl, what do you think to that? It's getting a little bit naughty, wasn't it?
Oh, I love a bit of handbags in football. Who doesn't like a bit of handbags? What I love about football handbags is someone really wants to throw a punch, but they just know that they're going to be sent off and say it's all the shoulder barging, it's all the shoulders and chest. Like, go on. It's like bullshit. It's all bullshit in it. Like Chris will tell you, it's not that Sunday league. I'm sure Sunday league there is a few punches definitely thrown, or a bit more.
Less so nowadays, but it was a bit like that Xhaka and Gomez moment second half, wasn't it? Where they both sort of like went for each other and then went, "Nah, you're all right." Because it just doesn't. It's not like the old days, is it? But no, it wasn't a great challenge though. I didn't think personally. He's a bit of a Bellerin, Richarlison, isn't he? To be honest.
Yes, he's one of them ones where he's brilliant, but sometimes
he's your player.
You got to take a bit of his madness in it to get the brilliance. But yeah, I agree with you, Chris. He's a bit of a prick.
Yeah.
Good.
If he's your player, you love him. If he's not, you hate him.
There we go, Chris. Next goal for you. I had to actually put 48th minute, and then when they scored in the 46th minute, and we scored in the next half, 46. I thought that should be 45 plus 3. Goal, corner, ball cleared, ball scuffed back in. So I don't know how he even got that on target when he completely mishit it. Scramble in the box. Richarlison pokes it in. What a mess. What was your thoughts on that?
I think again you summed it up well. It was a mess. Worst time to concede. Luckily, we also scored at the best time to score straight afterwards. But yeah, it is the worst time to concede because all of your preparation and all of your, the managers going in the tunnel at half time with a 2-1 up and preparing potentially substitutions and tactics for the second half, and then bang, you level, and it gives that opposition team essentially a fresh start straight away in the second half, which obviously didn't work out too well for them. But it was a scrappy goal. Luiz. I actually felt a bit sorry for Luiz in that second goal because if you look at the replay, I don't know who it is who heads it just off of his head. Whoever is just in front of him sort of heads it over Luiz. I think if he got the shout, he didn't leave it because Luiz would have headed it away. But Leno misjudges it. It's a goalkeeping error. I think I did agree with Gary Neville. I think if you're a goalkeeper in that position, you think back to the days of a Peter Schmeichel, for example. He would be out and would literally clean everything out in the process of taking that ball. Nothing. As I say, Leno was fantastic, particularly second half. He more than made up for it. And he has been brilliant all season. He's not going to, he's going to make mistakes every once in a while. That's a goalkeeper's life. I felt like this one was an error. I do feel like he should have just committed to it and gone for it, or stayed on his line and stood up big. Whereas what he kind of did was half came, then went back to his line and sort of fell backwards and then was off balance. Good finish, slightly fortunate finish, but you've got to be in there to score them. I'll be honest. At halftime, I was thinking, it's the worst time to concede because of. I was worried about our mentality, but I was proved very wrong, which is happy to say that. But yeah, poor defending. Rome wasn't built in a day, nor was Arsenal. We've got a lot of work to do in terms of that long term, but the response is what you wanted, and we got that.
Righto, a little bit of news here from our very own Simon Collins. Says Kolasinac just walked through the mix zone, arm in a sling under his tracksuit top, which is a little bit concerning. If you lovely people want to go and put a Twitter account there, that's our Simon. He works for the Evening Standard. He doesn't do any clickbait at all. So if you go and follow Simon on Twitter and go and tell him that you sent us and you want him on the show as soon as possible, really top quality. He's like the anti-John Cross. He doesn't say things just for clickbait. He actually does it properly. So go and follow Simon on Twitter. Tell him we said hello. Right, where were we at? We were at, here we go, Karl. Second half. Chris has kind of given this away a little bit, but we had to. 46th minute, goal. Great work by Pepe down the right wing. Cuts in on his left foot. Lovely cross to Alba, who heads it down and in. Now Alba is the joint Premier League top goal scorer. Not bad for a team in the second half of the Premier League, is it, at that point?
No, we didn't do too badly at all, did we? Credit to Aubameyang. I think it was Sidibe again, wasn't he? Like, do you remember when he used to be good and like he was going to be the next French right back? Idiots. Anyway,
Toffee, though.
No, I see what you did there. toffee. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
But he should, personally, if that was me, I would be really upset if that was our defender, because how can you have one man in the box and not have one not stand goal side and two not stand closer to him? It was like credit where credit's due. I think very good from Pepe to get the ball in, and I think very good from Aubameyang to get the on target as well. Brilliant header. Well done, Arsenal. You know, we came out, and I think the best thing about that was Ancelotti's face. We just looked at his face, was like, what the fuck was going on there? Like, he didn't have a clue.
Brilliant header as well. For a guy who's not known for his heading, he's actually a very, very good header of the ball. Aubameyang, I think he's very underrated in the air. What I like about him when he goes up for headers is he directs headers. It's a proper centre forwards header. That I think Alan Smith or John Hartson would have been proud of that one. Really well directed, put it exactly where Pickford couldn't get to. And like I said previously, it's just the perfect start to the. It was a perfect response to the second half. Everton's marking. I mean, Ancelotti should, especially an Italian coach, seeing defending like that, where you leave a player of that ability free in the box, he will go. He will have them watching that on video time and time again tomorrow. It was terrible from their point of view, but from our point of view, you just got to take the chance when it comes. And yeah, really, really good performance and a real captain's performance today from Aubameyang all over the pitch. He was working his balls off.
Question for you, Chris, from Don One says, question for Chris, do we sell his beloved Alexander Lacazette in this summer?
No.
Good.
No. Seeing as I've got to leave shortly, do you want me to sum that question up and then do a sum up before you do questions? I'm quite happy to do that if you want me to.
Do whatever you want.
Bye. Just to explain to everyone, I'm only being paid half a fee. My image rights were not paid. Jason Davies is responsible for that, so I'm only giving you half a show. No, I'm only joking. I've got to go to a Devon FA meeting, which I can hardly wait for. And I'm definitely not going to watch PSG Bordeaux on my phone during it at all.
Do that.
No, but yeah. So apologies, chat. It's nothing personal. I will return maybe on Thursday. Who knows? Anyway, I completely forgot what I was going to say then.
You want to say about Lacazette leaving?
Yeah, no. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. We shouldn't be looking to sell any players unless we get a good price for them, unless they are actively looking to move. Sure, there's a couple of players that we might have to make decisions on in the summer. Some of them are going to be out of our control. One of those I'll touch on before I go. But yeah, I mean, we've got the nucleus of a good squad, and with the additions, Carl touched on it, with the additions of Pablo Mari and Cedric Suarez, all of a sudden you look at our defence and go, actually, there's quite a lot of options there. Are they? Thank you, Stefan. Are they all world-class options in central defence and wing back? No, they're not. But are we a world-class side at the moment? No. So we're shopping a little bit, not in Lidl's, but we are shopping in kind of, sort of.
We got a handful of vouchers and we're off to Sainsbury's.
Yeah. We got a couple of quid, but we're also using our Nectar points. So we do have to be a bit careful. Short answer to the question is no, I wouldn't sell him. But to extend it slightly, there's other players that I think would need to go before he does. If we get astronomical money or he wants to move on, that's different. In terms of just sort of summing up before I parachute out the back door, the things that stood out for me today, the commitment and desire of the team to press individually as a whole was really good. Like that, to me, is really coming on. And the more games you see Arteta have, the more games that the more that we're watching as a team, the more team ethic you're getting. When one presses, two drop. When two press, three drop. When three go to the ball, another three come across. There is definitely signs there, and I think Gary Neville pointed out in second half when he said it's very interesting to see a 4-2-3-1 match up against a 4-4-2. I think in the old days, Arsene Wenger would be very rigid and it's not a criticism of Arsene, but he'd be very rigid. He'd be like, we'll play our game, doesn't matter what the opposition does. With Arteta, it's very much we'll set up in 4-2-3-1 pretty much every game, but we'll adapt our formation to counter what the opposition does in-game. It's very much in-game management, which is very... Yeah, it's almost like going like for like.
I made a note that we were, actually, because you're going to go, I made a note. I never make tactical notes, but when we made those all of our substitutions, we were playing a very deep 4-4, and then playing a couple, and then Guendouzi going out. But that was a really strict and tight back 8 at times, wasn't it? It's great to see.
And his organisation, when you see him talking to substitutes, he's very, very specific about what he wants them to do. A couple of the hand signals, like when Guendouzi was on, you could clearly see him sort of doing the 3. And he was saying to Guendouzi, he was doing this a lot, which basically what that says to me is, or how I would gesture that is, you're in the 3, but your job is to go from side to side and press each side, move across the lines, move across with the play. Footballers are thick. I hate to break this to everybody, but they need specific instructions. See what Granit Xhaka said a few months ago, and he's another one. Credit to him. I still think we could do better, but fair play to him. He has, the redemption of Xhaka is a film that Steven Spielberg is waiting to direct, because that will make at least 10 quid. But no, jokes aside, he's come in and done brilliantly.
And we saw the stuff in midweek, wasn't there, that Guendouzi has been frozen out of the squad and he's fallen out of the manager. Bullshit.
Yeah, and what does he do? Comes back and puts in a really good performance in both games that he's been played. And Guendouzi is, nobody's above criticism. If they step out of line, then they get rattled and they perform. The other 2, just quickly to mention today, Mesut Ozil, I think was good again today. Said it before, we'll keep saying it, the number 10 role is dead. But if he can adapt his game as he did today, where he was dropping deeper and supporting the strikers, the one thing that Mesut Ozil does better than arguably even to this day many other players in Europe, if you watch his passing, when it's a forward pass, it is always right into the run of a player. Never plays it behind a player, never plays it out of reach of a player.
Saka, didn't we?
He just, and he doesn't have to think about it. It's always into the stride of the player. And that is so vital when you see players misplacing passes. That gets you on the front foot. And the other one, I will keep blowing this trumpet. Karl touched on it earlier. I think Dani Ceballos is a player that we need to try and keep. His reaction since coming back from injury, I think, has been first class. I think he's a player that needs to be in this starting 11 every week, because he's the one player for me that has the ability and the physicality. He's almost a combination of Xhaka and Torreira. His distribution, whilst it's not always perfect, it's always forward. It's always forward thinking. He's comfortable on both feet. His vision's excellent. He dictates the tempo of the play. And I think if you look at the top sides in Europe, they've all got one of those. It reminds me a little bit of Thiago Alcantara at Bayern Munich, that type of player. He's not on that level yet, don't get me wrong, but I think he's not a Real Madrid player for no reason. He was at that club, or is at that club, for a reason. We've got a lot of work to do with him still, but I thought he was really good, and I think again, there was a little bit of the whole, am I going to stay? Am I not? He's obviously had a word with Arteta. He's obviously got assurances that he'll get opportunities. And Arteta's thrown in the gauntlet and said, I'll give you chances. You're going to have to prove to me you're worthy of being in this side. And I think, particularly in the last 3 games he's played, he's definitely done that. So there you go, everybody. I've covered the shout out of that.
Could you just do a quick one of your wonderful accents in 95 Winston says, where's the tappy tappy? We need one from Chris, and then you can go.
Oh, okay. Oh, God, I've got to think about this. Yeah, okay. Right. I'm having a look at this. I'm having a look at this right now. I'm having a look at this. I've got at least 5 viewers. At least 5. Maybe 55. I don't know. At least 5. Maybe 105. What's this? What? Tappy. You're all in here free. Doing nothing. Just tappy. You bunch of twats. I'm out of here. Thank you.
Oh, Karl. What can we do? Thank you very much, Chris. You overrun away. It's past, and tell the Devon and Cornwall FA sort your fucking ass and stop making the Pirates pay so much money for stuff.
I shall return, people. Thanks for tuning in. I love you all.
Cheerio. Bye. Oh, thank fuck, he's gone and get a word in edgeways now. Karl, you're right. You had a good day. What's for dinner?
Okay. Oh, God. I love. Sorry.
Well, there you go.
Anyway.
Here's one for the dads from Julian Salmon. Alba header reminded me of Frank Stapleton, another turncoat who shit on us for Man United. But yeah, that's an old one. Oh, we've got someone calling us armchair fans. The last time I sat in an armchair was probably in the early 90s. They were doing that again. Couldn't get out. Yeah, so I'll let people abuse him for saying such silly nonsense. Big Bunny Kane. I think he's in our WhatsApp group, isn't he?
Who?
Big Bunny Kane, isn't that? I always get him and Daryl mixed up because one of them is and one of them isn't. He says a Chris Welsh's accent is nicer than Jason's.
Oh,
Frank Gunner. He says, why the Russian accent? Well, we need to get on with this, don't we, Carl? Right, we are now up to next 15. Last from the goal at the 46th minute, I've put next 15 minutes. A few substitutions, a few late tackles. It's all calmed down a bit now, getting a little bit slow. Then move on to the 65th minute. I've got a tooth missing. Agent Saka with an awful back pass. Mustafi clears the attack. It comes in again, and Mustafi clears again. Very good from Mustafi. Have you been not excited, but have you been happy to see the re-emergence of Mustafi as someone we can rely on at the back? I know Chris touched on it a little bit earlier on.
Of course, I want to see all our players do well, no matter who they are. I couldn't care less if it was Mustafi, Xhaka. I want to see every single one of our players play to the best of their ability and do very, very well. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in Mustafi, and do you know what? And I want him to prove me wrong. I want Mustafi to actually come out and bloody, we joke about him being a Ballon d'Or winner. I want him to, play that good that he actually does. They talk about him. The problem with Mustafi is that you're looking at past what he's done in the past. And let's face it, he hasn't done too well in the past. He's always got a mistake in him. Like I said, you could think about all the Mustafi performances, and you always think about the bad ones, like the Chelsea one. And that's the one that sticks out in my head. That back pass when we played away to Chelsea was just atrocious. And you think to yourself, and I remember saying, and I remember tweeting as well, like, this guy is a professional footballer. He literally does this thing for a living, and he makes that sort of mistake. It's unacceptable. It really is. But, that hopefully now Arteta is going to come in and coach him. And we got different coaches as well. And hopefully the coach, I think it's Steve Round, who is our assistant. Hopefully he literally will be okay. This is what I want you to do. I want you to do A, B, and C. And Mustafi will do A, B, and C. Just like Xhaka. I don't know if you realise that the reason why I love sort of how we play now is that as soon as Saka gets forward, Xhaka drifts into that left-back position. And that's why Saka is easy or is free to get forward as much as he does, because Xhaka just drifts back and just protects that left-back. And I think that's brilliant. That is coaching. That's not something that Xhaka all of a sudden has said, do you know what? I'm going to do that. Like Chris said, footballers are fucking thick as shit. And they need that sort of coaching. And that's what, obviously, Mustafi, obviously, Arteta has said to Xhaka, when he gets forward, just drift back, cover him. So if we get caught on a counter-attack, as fast as Saka is, there's some teams out there who will counter-attack the fuck out of us. And Xhaka's there to break up play. And that's brilliant. And like you said, even with Guendouzi coming on today, Guendouzi is there. He was just to be a bit of a bastard, to break up play, fall on the floor, be a bit of a prick, just break up play, fall on the floor, draw the foul in, waste time. Brilliant. And these are the things that I hate to talk about our past managers, but Emery didn't do. Emery didn't teach these players to do those sort of things. And yeah, you can say, they're footballers, they should know, but you do have to coach footballers, some of them, to within an inch of their lives. So, I'm positive after this Arteta, hopefully he'll come in and, this season, like I wrote this season off a long time ago, and hopefully, I just want us to finish as high up the table as humanly possible. I think, I don't want to touch too much on it but I do think Man City will win their appeal, and I think they'll get into Europe. I don't see them not winning their appeal, to be honest, because UEFA are a bunch of crooks, just like Man City, to be honest. But all this talk about Arsenal going into the Champions League, we don't even have a squad to get into the Champions League. Why would we get into the Champions League if we can't compete with it? That's the point. You can be in the Champions League, for us to get knocked out in the group stages? It's ridiculous. But for me, like, Arteta has come in, and I think he is trying to change the stamp of the club. He's trying to put his own ideas. Like I said, I don't want to touch too much on what Emery did or even didn't do, but he he wasn't the right fit for Arsenal. Arteta's come in, new ideas. The players are playing differently. Every single player is playing differently. They've all got different roles within the squad. And, this time last year, we all hated Xhaka. We all hated him. We hated Mustafi. We wanted them out of our club. We wanted them to leave. We wanted them. Now, you're thinking to yourself, shit, Xhaka is not one of the first names on the team sheet. And I think how he's playing now, I mean, he still does the stupid things. He still gets the stupid fouls. And it is what it is. That is Xhaka's game. Sometimes it's a good thing what he does. And sometimes you're annoyed at him and you kind of think, oh, fuck, what are you doing? But, that's part of his game. And I think him being coached to drop back and cover Saka, I think is an absolute thing of beauty. It gives Saka, just the freedom to get forward and put in crosses like he did today.
I agree with all of that, and so does the chatbot. You're getting a little bit of love in the chat box there, Karl. It's only taken 4 years, and finally, they've seen the light. Nice to see. Right, where are we? And the 70th minute. Good to see Ozil pulling some strings in midfield, which he was doing more in the second half. 71st minute, Leno saves from Calvert from, I think it was actually 4 inches. This bloke was already my 4th best Arsenal keeper during my time as an Arsenal fan. How highly do you rate Leno?
I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think without him and Aubameyang, I dread to think where we'd be this season. I really do. And that save from Calvert-Lewin, from, like you said, from literally close range, absolutely brilliant. I can't say whether he is my favourite Arsenal goalkeeper or 4th best. I don't know. I think at the moment my favourite Arsenal goalkeeper will always be David Seaman. Yep. Just because he's he's the goalkeeper that I grew up with. It was David Seaman. And then it would have to be, I had a soft spot for Alice Manninger as well. I really did.
Yeah, very underrated. Came in during the double season when Seaman was injured and played quite a few games. Yeah.
I had a really soft spot for Alice Manninger. Obviously, the big German goalkeeper, he's got to be up there as well. I think
he cost us a Champions League final, the German tit. Yeah, but he's best.
Yeah, but he was brilliant when he was there. He's eccentric. He was he was literally, if you think of mad goalkeeper, you think of Lehmann. You think of Jens Lehmann because he was crazy. And you're going to say one that is probably out of my age range.
Lukic. Yeah, 3rd best.
I didn't grow up with John Lukic, I guess. He was a bit before my time, but obviously it's some of the. I just remember him playing. Didn't he play for Leeds after he left us?
He went Leeds, Arsenal, retire.
Because I remember him playing for Leeds, and I remember him getting chipped by Ian Wright. That's my memory of John Lukic. But I think Leno. Get back into this game. I think Leno for me is so underrated, and I think without I know, did you see Neuer this weekend? He literally went for Neuer, didn't he?
Yeah, they were losing to Paderborn, weren't they? And Paderborn are the yo-yo team of the German league. They go Bundesliga 1-2-3, 2-3-1, 1-2-3. Paderborn are winning.
Oh, but he went for Neuer when he come out, like literally.
Never go full Neuer, Karl. We all know that.
He did, and I think without Neuer, you'd have the Barcelona goalkeeper be the #1 German goalkeeper. Is he German? Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Who, Neuer?
No, the Barcelona goalkeeper. Stantenberg, I think his name is.
Ter Stegen.
Yeah.
I don't know. The name like that is going to be German or Dutch.
Yeah, and then I think Leno would be probably the #2 goalkeeper, but obviously with Neuer, you're not gonna kind of get in front of him. But I think Neuer is very underrated, and my fear is that somebody is going to come in with like a 50-60 million pound bid for him, and will Arsenal be well enough to refuse a bid like that? Who knows?
Ter Stegen is Dutch descent through his father, but he is German international. 3 games last year, 3 games the year before that, and 10 games the year before that. So, although he isn't a German regular, but yeah, they.
But it's also Neuer, isn't it? Neuer's only going to get dropped when he retires, isn't he?
Yes, so yes, his dad was Dutch. Right, next on to the diddly bong. 75th minute, good work from Ozil. Pass it to Ceballos, who puts it high and wide. Every single time I put Ceballos in my notes, I put it in differently. I cannot spell his name. 76th minute, Ceballos off for Torreira, trying to shut up shop a little bit, which was good. 77, Alba playing emergency centre back. I thought that was really good.
Yes, that was.
Covering kind of in the where the Xhaka position would be when Saka goes off on an attack. He was covering there. Good to see Alba because he cares again. 79. That's Everton's 15th attempt at goal. They are looking for another goal, which is obvious, but I still made a note of it. 81st minute, Ozil off for Matteo, while Everton bring on Keane. This could get tricky because Moyes Keane, when he was at Juventus last season, was a handful, but he's struggled this season. I know he's had a couple of good games here, but he's a decent player, but taking his time to gel in. Then I've made a note. Now playing 2 deep lines of 4 when defending, then sending Matteo high upfield to hassle their players when they have the ball. 86th minute, Matteo, Eddie and Xhaka hassling their defenders. The slip up, Eddie gets the ball and curls it to top right-hand corner, but it hits the post and comes back out. Were you having kittens at that point? I actually screamed, Jesus fucking Christ on a horse. I don't know why I said that or why I squealed it, but I was excited, weren't you?
That would have been an absolutely brilliant goal, and I was willing it to just drop. It was, I think it was brilliant. The fact that he just got the ball, tried to curl it, and goalkeeper was beating all hands up. And Eddie, I think had a good game today. I really do. I don't think without the injury to Kolasinac, maybe he wouldn't have played the whole game. But I think needs must. But at the end of the day, he did a job for us today, and I think it's great that he can come in and play a whole game against a team like Everton and give Lacazette a rest. And Lacazette hasn't been at his best. Now Chris is gone, like I say, Lacazette's been shit. But he's coming back. He got a goal in midweek and he got a goal. Yeah, and he got a goal against Newcastle. And, strikers need that. Sometimes strikers just need to get a goal and score. And then, their confidence comes back, tenfold. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you see Lacazette score a few more goals because there's a striker in him. He's a good player. It's just that he was lacking confidence so much. And, now he's starting to put the ball in the back of the net. Who knows what he could do.
Here you go. Question from Nicky. I didn't notice this. Nick says, why did the ref keep frog marching our players off when subbed? Only seem to do that at the Emirates. They do tend to get a wiggle on, don't they? Yeah, I think what it is now, I think, there's this new rule where you've got to go off at the nearest point where you are. No matter where you are, you got to go off. I think what players are doing now, they're positioning themselves in the center circle. So obviously the nearest point is always going to go towards where they are. So they're being smart about it. So I think the referee is just saying, no matter how much I'm going to add time on, he's probably just saying to them, look, you need to hurry up. I'm going to add time on. I'm going to add, because what is it, 30 seconds per substitution? Yeah. So they're probably saying, I'm going to add these 30 seconds on. I'm going to add these a minute on. So that's what I think it is. He's just telling them to get the hurry up because, like I said, I think this thing about taking time to walk off is obviously being cottoned on now. Maybe it's only to Arsenal because it's just us, but we probably don't notice it because we probably only notice it with our team because we watch our team more. I'm sure it does probably happen to other teams at their ground, but we just don't notice it. I was in bed yesterday listening to the BBC doing the commentary during the matches, and at some point between drifting in and out of consciousness, I remember them saying they've just the one team had taken off their, I think it was their left back, and the left back was made to go off at the far left-hand side of the pitch, but their substitute came on from this side of the pitch, so he had to sprint across the entire length of the field to get back there in time while the other team were making an attack. And you think, yeah, there won't be long before someone uses that as a tactic. They go, right, they're going off, right, everyone down that side, because I'm not sure it really saves much time, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's like I said, they'll always add 30 seconds on per substitution. But yeah, teams were maybe, I remember Jose Mourinho was an artist for it. He would, substitute a striker, but then somehow the striker would be playing left back. And then obviously they'd have to walk all the way across the pitch. So, it's a bit of the dark arts. But like I said, I think referees and the FA and the Premier League, for what they're worth, are cottoning onto it. If only the FA could get VAR right, and then they'll be good.
Wenger working from inside the WAFA, which is great. Right, 86th minute. Matteo, like a wasp, gets taken down. Ref gestures, no foul. Leno waves his flag. Foul. We get a free kick. The only thing of note there is it's good to see that a linesman is actually overruling the referee, and the referee's listening to him, because we've had so many years of Linos not listening to the referee not listening to the fourth officials and Linos and all that lot. So that's good to see. 88th minute. Xhaka misses the ball. I think Torreira went to pass it to Xhaka, and Xhaka wasn't ready or wasn't expecting it, so he misses it. They get on the attack. Leno comes sliding out like he was on some kind of greased up luge, out like a boss, and clears it, but also gets a bit of a knock at that time, didn't he? Were you worried? And just tops off his game, doesn't he? Leno was brilliant today.
He was. I wasn't worried, because I thought he was a bit of the dark arts, to be honest. That just I was supposed to be a bit of time, but yeah, I think like you said, Leno was brilliant today. Yes, he made that mistake for the second goal, and I do, like Chris said, it was a goalkeeping error. It 100% was. We can't get away from that. However, he made up for it for the saves that he made, and definitely for that Calvert-Lewin one right at the end, because that was a goal all over, and he managed to make himself big and keep the goal out. And like I said, Leno is very underrated. I think for saves, he's been up there because we've had a lot of shots, obviously, facing our goal, but I think he is probably going to be in a few big teams' radar, and I just hope that we are able to keep hold of him, because that guy is going to be a very good goalkeeper. And for 24 million, I want to say it was, at the moment, he's worth his weight in gold at the moment.
Absolute bargain. Right, final note I've made was Calvert-Lewin again missed from a number of feet away. What a player that bloke's going to be for England, isn't he?
Yes, I think Everton are... He's a Man United player written all over him, innit? You can just tell Man United are going to bid for him in the summer, because Man United need a striker badly, and how much can Everton keep hold of him? I think Calvert-Lewin is, this season he's playing absolutely brilliant. And I think if Man United get into Europe and Everton don't, then Man United will go knocking for Calvert-Lewin. And although I think is he a homegrown player, or did...
He got him from United when they paid 1.5 million for him in August 2016. So he played 11 games for Sheffield United and didn't score a goal.
So yeah, I think Manchester United, and I think he'll probably go to the Euros this year, because I think Kane, unless they give Kane horse tranquilizers, Kane's going to miss out on the Euros, isn't he? And then so is who's the Man United forwards? Rashford. He looks like he's going to miss out as well. So you're looking at Calvert-Lewin definitely should make the squad, like 100%, and he could start. You never know. Him and Callum Wilson, I think all those players, all those English strikers, must be looking at thinking, if the main two strikers of England could possibly miss out this season, they've got a chance. I mean, like I said, I've got no doubt that they're going to give Kane every single drug and to make it back on time, and he probably will. And even if he plays one game, like at the end of the season, he's guaranteed to be in the squad, in it, because England are stupid like that. But people like Calvert-Lewin and Callum Wilson definitely got a chance of getting into the England squad.
It'd be good to see.
I think so. And yeah, and sorry as well, like Stefan just said, Tammy Abraham as well. He's got a chance as well. Oh,
what a player he is. It's a shame that he's playing for them scumbags. Right, league table. We are now up to 9th, which is good. We've goal difference of +3. I never thought I'd see the day. We have moved up 2 positions, and now if we win our next game, we're only 3 points behind Spurs and 3 points behind Sheffield United, and we're 1 goal difference behind Sheffield United and 5 behind Spurs. Do you think top 5 could be on? Because I mean, look, Chelsea are only 7 points ahead of us, and they've only won 2 of the last 6. And so have we. I
do think we could climb. I mean, I remember when Leicester won the league. I remember being on week in, week out with Chris and him saying, "Oh, they're not going to last. They're not going to last. They're going." And I remember saying to Chris, I think it must have been about, I think it's January. I said, "Leicester are going to win the league," and he was like, "Don't be so stupid, Carl. Don't be so stupid." And I said, "Trust me, Chris, because no team can defend it. Like they're so basic." That's happening. Same with Sheffield United, and I'm give props to Sheffield United. They're doing very, very brilliant. And I want to say, Sheffield United are going to drop off, but the way they're playing, they're not. They've got one game a week, no European competition. Do you know what I mean? There's no chance of them dropping off. I think, our next game is Olympiacos, and hopefully we're going to beat them at home. We should do, right? Even with a slender lead, we should definitely beat them at home. Man City away. Let's just write that game off right now, innit? Let's not even kid ourselves to think, we never know. No, we're not going to win that game. Let's be very honest. Then we've got Portsmouth, FA Cup, which even though it's away, we should be beating Portsmouth away, shouldn't we? Like, irrespective. And then we've got a couple of games that we should really win. West Ham at home, we should win that. Brighton away.
Oh.
Pardon?
4 in a row we should win. I mean, for the next 4.
Yeah, I mean, Brighton away, we should win, but, it's tricky. Southampton away, that is our bogey ground. Let's be honest. It's our Stoke of a modern day, because I remember we have lost some stupid games, and I guarantee Shane Long hasn't scored for 15 games. Shane Long will get a goal against us. I will guarantee.
It's the Benteke effect. As soon as I did the show with we said the Crystal Palace preview, he's never going to score a goal again. He hasn't scored in a year. What did he do?
Yeah, I just Shane Long will guarantee to get a goal against us, because that's what he does. It seems weird. And then we got Norwich at home, which we should win that. And then we've got a tough run of games. Wolves away, Leicester at home, Tottenham away, Liverpool at home. That is the 4 games when, it is, I think if we get 6 points out of those games, I would be happy. I'll be very honest with you, because that is a tough run of games. So I think we have to win the 4 or 5 games before those 4 games, because that is, that is going to be very, very tough. And hopefully we can get a few people back from injury. Tierney's coming back, which means we may be able to push Saka more up the pitch, which means that we can push maybe Aubameyang in the middle. Martinelli, I think he's got an injury because he hasn't been in the squad for a little while, has he? So
I did look earlier today. We have 8 players that were debatable, including Ozil and Ceballos and Bellerin. So I think everyone's just been used carefully, which is something nice to see.
So I think our run of games is looking the next 4 or 5 winnable. After that,
there you go. Cars. Liverpool at home end their streak and build the Arteta statue.
Do you know what? If we are the team to beat Liverpool, I think we would be celebrating like we won the European Cup. I think, and people could say, "Oh, they've only beaten Liverpool," but I think we would be celebrating. Do you know what? Liverpool won the league. Could not give a fuck. You know what? I hate it, but it's whatever. I really don't want them to go unbeaten, because at the moment that's the only thing I'm holding on to. That's ours. No one else can say it. Leicester won the league. We won the league. Liverpool have now won it. Okay, it is what it is. But no other team can say they've gone unbeaten in a whole season. And each Liverpool, every time I ask a Liverpool supporter, they're like, "Oh, we don't care about it." Yes, they fucking do. They really, really do. Anyone can say they're going a whole season unbeaten is brilliant. And it's down to, really and truly, you're looking now, it's down to either us or Man City. They've still got to play City away, haven't they? So they're just a juggernaut, Liverpool, and I fucking hate them. Dirty.
We will go all out because Arteta spent time at Man City. He was played for Everton for quite a few years. He's one of their best players. He probably hates Liverpool as much as anyone else. It's one of the last games of the season. I'd say, right, we're playing Kolasinac, we're playing Xhaka, we're playing Torreira in the centre of midfield. Go and break someone. If we can stop them winning the Champions League and stop them going unbeaten, I reckon it's worth a couple of red cards. Yeah,
I just don't want to go unbeaten. That's all I want.
That's it. That's the important thing, right? There's been a few other questions that we didn't get to. I'll ask one more because Pete's been busy putting in lots of questions. He says, "Stake your reputation on your answer. Will we finish 5th or better?" I say yes.
I say,
Do it.
Fuck. 5th, no better than 5th.
Right, there you go. That's all what we wanted to hear. Right, I need to say thank you very much to people who don't. I forgot to do this last show that I hosted. The last show, Michael Hanneman, J. Rob, gave us some money, which is very kind of you. And this show, again, J. Rob, who hasn't been in the chat much. Maybe he just came in, threw some filthy euros at us and then ran away. Gunner 93, Blair Slater, and Petito 100. Thank you very much, you very kind Gooners, for stuffing money down our pants. We've got someone trying to organise getting those shirts done. We've got millions of pounds in the ABW kitty. Nobody at the moment needs any new bits. So, yeah, we're British modding team. What do you mod? Wonder what they mod. Yes. There you go. Pete saying thank you. So I think that's everything covered. This what day? Yeah, Tuesday's going to be a podcast. Hopefully, someone will offer to say one of the not the new people, but one of the others will go, I'll host the show on Tuesday because Jason did a really good job midweek, apart from doing that all the way, which fucking wound me up. But it's really good for me as someone who is on nearly every single one of our podcasts to actually listen to a podcast and have no idea what's going on. I enjoyed that. Jeff was great. And who else was on there with him? Drew. I mean, I could listen to Drew talk about football for hours just on his own. It's brilliant. The British modding team says, I'm a modder on the video game called GTA 5. Yes, I've got that on 3 different console machines at the moment, but that's a different thing. So this week, it'd be nice if one of you, I don't know who it's going to be, maybe try and persuade Chris to host a podcast, and then he can get a couple of guests on, and it can all be about the Farmers League. You'd love that, wouldn't you, Carl?
No. Okay, now have you seen? I did watch a clip of the Farmers League. Okay, I'm just gonna. These are the views of Carl Walker and not ABW. Let me just say this. So
they probably
I didn't realize that they have female referees refereeing the men's game in France.
I didn't know.
And yes, and today there was the dirtiest foul you have ever seen in your whole entire life. Some guy literally clotheslined someone and she gave a yellow card, but she overturned it and gave him a red because it was a dirty foul. And Danny, can I just really quickly?
So you're the one that needs to go. I've got all day. I don't have a life.
Oh, I just want to talk about VAR quickly because I want to cover it on the pod. Whoever does the pod, I want to cover it there and then because I don't really talk about the game. Did you watch? Was you up early enough to watch the Spurs and the other game? Did you see their foul?
No.
Okay, so there was a really, really bad foul by the Celso on a Chelsea player, and it was a red card. Danny, it was 100% red card. Every single person.
Where he kicked him in the balls?
No, that was against Man United. That was
slabhead.
Yeah,
but
there was a really, really bad foul, like really bad foul, and they went to VAR and VAR said no, it's not. And everyone was like, "Are you stupid?" Like it was Danny's really. If you can watch it, if you can find it.
To be on Match of the Day, I've not watched Match of the Day yet. I don't really watch it, but
Le Celso foul. And then about 10 minutes later, they come out and said, "Oh, by the way, it should have been a red card. We made a mistake." Now, if Le Celso had gone on to score the winning goal, what would that have done?
Well, much like Slaphead did. He went on and scored the goal.
Yeah, Chelsea went on to win the game. It is what it is. I don't give a fuck about Chelsea. Fuck them. However, and that what they said. It wasn't VAR. It was human error. Now, I really want to, whoever covers it, I really want them to cover this in the pod. I don't really want to talk about it now, but I just think that, are you a fan of VAR?
It's the podcast, and you could pick your own guests and topics.
You know what I mean.
Well, you could do.
I might come on Tuesday, actually. But, yeah.
Be in charge, not come on. Be in charge.
Yeah. But are you a fan of VAR?
Am I fuck? It's ruining the whole point of football isn't a precise art. I like did it go out, didn't it? When you get occasions like the Man United game where the ball went over the line, he fish hooked it out from back of the net and it didn't count as a goal. That's what it should be used for. But all this other bullshit, Get to fuck. I don't want any of it. I do not want technology as any part, but the bit in the ball, the sensor in the ball, that is okay. Other than that, I want fuck all VAR because it doesn't work. It's different from competition to competition. It's different from country to country. And how the fuck can you have VAR if your stadium's got VAR? It's allowed in the FA Cup. If your stadium doesn't, you don't have to have it. Utter bullshit. Fuck it off.
Good. Right. I am definitely going to be on Tuesday because I really want to talk about it. I want Simon. I'm going to get Simon on because Simon's I think he's not a good advocate for it either. Anyway, Danny, close the show. Yeah.
Right, thank you very much to everybody who has joined us today. Thank you very much to the pirate who has he's gone off with the slightest whiff of booty, and he's actually, that sounds like John, doesn't it? hopefully John will be back soon. He's fixed his computer 3 times and it's the same bit keeps blowing, and maybe Jace might join you and Jace midweek on a podcast. Imagine that. That'd be a
I won't be able to get a word in edgeways. Yeah, but Jason.
That's why mute is your friend. You can mute him and not tell him.
John is playing.
Yes, thank you to everybody who donated, everybody who's been here, and another really good game. That was, as people have been pointed out, Arsenal are undefeated in 2020. It's only us, Liverpool, and I think Bayern Munich are the other one as well, who nearly lost at the weekend. That's mainland Europe. Also, congratulations to Lucas Podolski. If only Mems was here, he'd tell me how to pronounce the team that he plays for. It's something like Antia Spol. He came on, scored within 3 minutes. Fantastic. Mkhitaryan scored. And I haven't checked the rest of our players, but yeah, fantastic. Things are looking up in the world of being an Arsenal fan. Karl, say good night.
Good night.